everyone. This is Sheryl, mental toughness coach, published author, speaker, and of course mom to a couple of great kids who are now high school and college Division I student athletes. I am so excited to be here at Starbucks in Lafayette with Annalise Morris, who is a certified financial advisor for Merrill Lynch. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me, Sheryl.
Yeah, so before we get started with Annalise, if you are on my list and you got this week's newsletter, it was all about helping teens to really be mentally tough, and it had a couple tips for them how to maximize their day and how to start their morning. And just to review before we get started, those tips were to breathe and be still. I know that that sounds a little ridiculous, but a lot of times kids get out of bed and hit the floor running. And then also to stretch a little bit, have some water, and if they can, go ahead and write down in a journal. So I just want to make sure everyone remembers those tips from the newsletter. If you're not on my newsletter, the URL is on this page, so go ahead and hop on. It's free and it comes out every week. So today I am incredibly excited because, again, we're going to talk about mental toughness money tips for teens. And a lot of times people think of mental toughness just for academics or athletics. But just like academics and athletics really require a lot of discipline and planning, so do financial matters, and the habits that kids are forming right now are definitely going to affect them in the future. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, and also I love working with teens because I can catch them as early as possible and give them these great mental toughness tools that they can keep with them through high school, college, and beyond. But I was talking to Annalise earlier, and it's so amazing if kids can have some great financial habits because they have so much time. So if they can get these as teens and learn how to save and learn how to spend appropriately, then they're going to be so set when they are older. So we're going to jump into it. I'm going to really put Annalise on the chopping block here and ask a few questions, and she's going to come up with some amazing tips for our teens to learn how to be financially mentally tough. You ready?
Definitely.
Okay, awesome. So Annalise, what do you think is the most important thing for teens when it comes to saving?
I think the most important thing is, as a teenager, you're at such an impressionable age, and really, it might sound kind of cheesy, but the steps that you take as a teenager, they can have a really positive financial impact for the rest of your life, or they can also be to your financial detriment for a very long time. If you dig yourself a hole, I know, like when I was a teenager, right around the time I started turning 18, all the major credit card companies just flood you with mail, in the mail to your parents' house. Luckily, my father's a financial advisor as well, so I had some really great tips and tricks growing up, and he put me on a path towards success. But I would just say resist the urge early on to get yourself into a hole that you can't get yourself out of.
Yeah, that sounds like great advice. And then in a long time ago, in a previous life, I actually worked for Merrill Lynch as well, about a couple decades ago, probably, I don't know, maybe before you were born. But anyways, one thing that I heard back then, and I know it's still true today, is something called the latte factor. And I think that is something that really stuck with me and helped me with my financial planning as I got older, and it's so important for teens even today. Can you explain that a little bit?
Sure. So the latte factor, it's actually from a great best-selling book called The Millionaire Next Door, and it is super applicable. I mean, we're sitting here at Starbucks, so what other better venue?
I know.
A little ironic.
I didn't buy anything, by the way.
Yeah.
We're just poaching on the real estate right now.
Exactly. So I have some statistics here that I wanted to read off, but essentially the latte factor, a lot of times people think that making huge financial purchases are what's really going to put them at a disadvantage, but truly it is those little day in and day out charges that add up to be a large sum of money over time. So I have some statistics here that actually break this down, and it's pretty amazing stuff. Okay, so latte factor. So everybody, you can go to Starbucks every day, get your $5 day latte. You times that by 365 days in a year. That's actually $1,825 a year.
Wow, I would never have thought of that.
Isn't that kind of insane?
Yeah.
So then, if you add a spinach and feta wrap for $3.75 a day to your $5 latte, you're spending $8.75 per day. Multiply that by 365 days. That's almost $3,200 that you're spending just on your breakfast alone.
And that's just in one place.
True. And add lunch and add dinner. There's all these great apps out there nowadays like Grubhub, DoorDash. You know, we're really looking at a hefty chunk of change just on these little expenses in eating. You can go to the grocery store and buy a lot of food for $3,200 a year.
Yeah, definitely, for sure.
Feed a family of 4.
Yeah. And I know it's just, it's expensive even doing that. So thanks for explaining that, because a lot of times I know even myself, or especially when kids go out, they really don't think about $3 or $4 here and there, how it adds up. Now, for you, I know your dad is a financial planner, but is there anything that you would have done any differently growing up, financially speaking?
Not financially speaking, absolutely. Financially speaking, I do have to say that I did benefit from the fact that my dad was a financial advisor, and honestly, left up to my own devices, it probably would have been a completely different story. Once again, I just want to stress making sure that we're not taking on too much debt, or buying too much and not putting enough aside at an early age. Saving money, the one thing that everybody who's a teenager or in college has to their advantage that older folks don't have is time. And honestly, putting aside that $5 a day that you spend on your coffee, I mean, we just saw that it's $1,800 a year. If we put that, instead of subtracting that from our bank account, and we added that back into our bank account over, you know, until you're age 65 and want to retire, that's going to be a lot of money. Yeah. So I think just making sure that
maybe by the time you're out of college and want to buy a nice car instead of like a clunky car that your parents give you. Yeah.
Absolutely. So I just think making sure that we're really being diligent and saving a lot of money. I mean, it doesn't have to be a lot on a daily basis, but every little penny or every little bit that you can tuck away really can help in the long run.
Okay, awesome. Thank you for providing that. And one thing that I have found is, you know, as most people well know, I have 3 kids and they have 3 very different spending habits. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but I've really seen this already just in the couple years, you know, with 1 a junior in high school and 2 in college, that some of them, a couple of them really save and one of them really likes to spend. And it just, thankfully my daughter's not watching this, but she's like most girls, you know, they like to socialize, they like to go out, they like to shop and do all those things, which is really fun. But I think it's really great to find a way to be able to do those things and have fun, but also learn how to be financially, mentally tough as well, because that does take some discipline, and you're right, over the long run, and it's so important. And one thing that I wanted to mention too, talking about teenagers, is that sometimes teenagers don't really want to go talk to financial advisors. I know that my kids, and my daughter in particular, although you know, the person that has been used historically for our financial planning, my kids, you know, we love you, Michael, but they're like, I don't really want to go in and talk to him. So it's really amazing that for families that are qualified, that Annalise can talk to them, because the reality is you're not really that far ahead of them age-wise, so you're easy to relate to, but the amazing thing is that you have all of the experience and you can teach them as well. So you're an incredible resource, and I really encourage any families out there that have questions or are interested, reach out to Annalise. You can also message me, and I will be sure to put you in touch with her, because she's amazing connecting with people our age, but she's incredibly amazing too connecting with our teens and teaching them how to be mentally tough financially. So thanks so much, everyone, for joining. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
I really appreciate it. Here's to your teens being awesome and to them being financially, mentally tough. We'll see you next time.